children of all ages. The Nerdy Man Room Show proudly brings you Cards Subject to Change with Hassel. That's right, people. We are back, and this is where we answer the what-ifs of professional wrestling. Are you ready to take a ride, guys? This right here is a Fans Choice edition, as this comes from our good buddy, Dennis Wilkerson of our Facebook community. He actually, this is one that we've all hypothesized on, if you will, throughout the years. But he actually took the initiative and made an entire card for this one. Actually, we're going to focus on one match, but he done an entire card. And if you guys like it, we got 4 of the matches that I handpicked out of his card that I really think have some legs to them. And if you guys want to see them, drop a comment below afterwards. Let me know, do you want to see them? So special thanks to our boy Dennis. So that being said, guys, this right here is 1997 Clash of the Champions, WWF versus WCW. That's right, people here. So this is in August of 1997, just a few mere months after The Undertaker won the WWF Championship from Psycho Sid at WrestleMania the 13th. So we are honestly just a few days before SummerSlam, where Shawn Michaels screws over The Undertaker, allowing Bret Hitman Hart to win his 5th and final WWF Championship, setting up that incredible summer to fall run we had where, you know, ultimately we get to the Montreal Screwjob. At this point in time, however, Sting, he is on one hell of a ride, as he's been hiding in the rafters, coming down, kicking the shit out of the NWO week in and week out. We're just a few mere months away from Sting versus Hollywood Hogan at Starrcade. Bret's there by this point. Whole lot changes in the course of this one year. This was probably one of the most instrumental years of all of professional wrestling, because the WCW took off. We're in the middle of our 83 weeks. But WWF is starting to build its steam. It's starting to lay the groundwork with Bret Hart, with DX, the Hart Foundation, all this stuff for the Attitude Era. Stone Cold is starting to really get white hot a little bit. So you guys can see just how well this is. So this right here, let's keep in mind, guys, this is 1997, Undertaker versus Sting. Now, I'm going to be honest, in different time eras, especially at a WrestleMania, 9 out of 10 times, Taker is going to most likely take this matchup, right? Depending on the era, depending on, I mean, whether it's, you know, American Badass, where it's Big Evil, whether it's the Dead Man, the Phenom, I mean, Mr. WrestleMania himself, you got all these different iterations of The Undertaker, the Ministry of Darkness even. These guys versus Sting could possibly be a little different than today's episode. And I'm not giving away the outcome by saying this, because I'm just stating the obvious. WrestleMania would be a different place. Now, both men, however, did debut at the Survivor Series, and I did look at a possibility of doing it that way versus how Mr. Wilkerson had it at Clash of Champions, just for the sake that neutral territory, both men debuted there, etc., etc., etc. However, it wouldn't be a what if we didn't do it the way we do it. So we're going to do it at the Clash of Champions, August 1997. Billionaire Ted and Vinnie Mac, they reached an agreement to actually have a showcase of the Immortal just a few days before SummerSlam. Well, Vince thinking, you know what, this will spark interest in my SummerSlam pay-per-view as well, and pop a number for Teddy on TBS. So guys, with that being said, let's take a look under the MF and hood, and let's see what we got here, guys. As we have Sting versus WWF Champion The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell on TBS Clash of Champions. Now, disclosure, the title is not on the line, because Vinny wouldn't go for that right there, right? Are you ready? Let's effing go, guys. Monday Night Raw, just 2 days before the Clash, Vince McMahon interviews the WWF Champion, where he questions Taker facing Sting just 5 days before he faces the Hitman at SummerSlam. The Taker states that at Clash of Champions, Sting will rest in peace. With that being said, when that happens, the lights go out. And when they come back up, Sting is in the rafters, people. Sting then does what Sting does. He rappels down to the ring, takes his bat and points it at the dead man to close the show and set up one hell of an anticipation for 2 nights later at Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions opens up with the NWO telling Sting that if he needs him tonight, just say the word, Sting, and we'll be there. Sting is in the rafter, however, with a vulture. The lights go out, and when they come back on, the vulture is in the ring with Eric looking at it down, and he gets a clear signal. Sting does not want or need any help from the NWO. He's not for life, people. Hell in a Cell, Sting versus WWF Champion The Undertaker. Now, this will be the first time ever the WWF Champion has made his entrance inside a WCW ring. Huge pop for Taker as he comes down to the ring. Taker has these iconic entrances even back in '97. So seeing him walk down with a WCW backdrop on the entrance into a WCW ring, raising the WWF Championship, that would be like, you know what I'm saying, guys? Then, for the first time in a year and a half, Sting would walk to the ring for a match. Both men immediately start throwing hands. Bobby the Brain Heenan would be sitting ringside and say, I think Sting owes Undertaker money. As the Brain, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone would be on commentary for this iconic matchup. JR, Brain, business is about to pick up. I'm sure that'd be a tougher $2 steak in there somewhere, guys. The cell is locked with none other than the Road Warriors, keeping everyone out from getting inside the ring, as they will be the bodyguards to guard the door. Now, the Road Warriors make sense to me, from my perspective, due to the fact that they wrestled for WCW, NWA, the WWF. They're the most neutral. I don't think they give a shit about either company. They just want chicks and to kick some ass, right, people? So it made sense to me that they would keep both companies from interfering. Both men are a house of fire and put on a 16-star Meltzer classic. Sting out of nowhere nails the Scorpion Deathlock. But before he can cover, the Undertaker sits up and does his iconic dead man look. Sting looks stunned as he has not encountered this from anyone before. Taker mounts a comeback on the franchise. Sting is knocked out of the ring, and Taker does the fly over the top rope on the Sting from to the outside. Fans are on the edge of their seats. Every slam, every chop, every kick is just electric. Both men trade the advantage back and forth, fighting on the outside. Taker rakes Sting's face across the cell and rolls him back inside, where Taker sets up old school and walks the top rope. He even does the walking of the rope and the old flying elbow that he done as Mean Mark back when he wrestled in WCW. He then sets up for a choke slam and a tombstone pile driver. This is when JR will be losing his mind. The Brain and Schiavone will be on the outside going, oh my God, the franchise he's setting the rafters too damn long. There's ring rust, people. Then the NWO music starts to play as K-Dog and Six walk down. But LOD, they ain't having it. And they send them packing back up the ramp. Taker looks on and approves when Sting pops up out of nowhere and stingers up, hitting the Sting puts Taker in the Scorpion Deathlock when out of nowhere, Owen Hart comes out from under the ring. He's been hiding under the ring the entire time to help secure Bret the Hitman Hart's match on Sunday. And he attacks Sting. Sting is ready and hits the Stinger Splash on Owen, though, who stumbles into a choke slam from a limping Taker. But before Taker can turn on Sting, Sting grabs him. Scorpion Death Drop. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of your match, Sting. After the match, Sting would grab the WWF Championship, give it a good look-see, and pose with it. The lights go out, and then the bells toll, followed by the sound of a crow. When they come back up, however, the Hart Foundation is in the ring, and they are going to town on the Undertaker and Sting. And this will be the Hart Foundation with Brian Pillman, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, the Anvil, and we have Bret Hitman Hart. Owen's laying there. He's still in a bad way. But, however, our two heroes, they begin to fight back as the Undertaker and Sting mount a comeback, kicking and chopping, choke slamming all the hell and back. The Hart Foundation would exit the cell quickly as they entered, dragging Owen back up the ramp. Sting hands Taker his WWF Championship, and both men give a sign of respect to each other to close the show. So, let me know, guys, do you enjoy these types? Or we just do a one-off, or do we want large angles over a large period of time? I want to get back to those, but I do enjoy the one-off matches. If you guys enjoyed this one, however, like I said, remember, this is 1997. The world was different at that time, right? But, courtesy of Mr. Wilkerson, we have 4 more matches that if you on this very card right here that we can do, if you guys like it, as we'll have the NWO versus the Hart Foundation in a war games. Now, in 97, people, the Hart Foundation was not to be trifled with. Don't think for a second they couldn't hold their own with the NWO. Match number 2 would be DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple Hemsley, versus the Four Horsemen with Flair and Double A. And we would have to change Double A out for Kurt Hennig, because I want to say this was around the time that Double A actually retired and they had the whole spot angle. Match number 3, it's time. It's Vader time versus Goldberg, Bill Goldberg. And finally, we would have Kane versus the Giant. Now, WCW Giant, he was different. He was not the Big Show. He was not whatever Vince viewed him to be. WCW Giant was a fucking beast. And he could have had, which 97 Kane was also a beast. So we would have truly had a battle of the two beasts. Revelations, if you will. Thank you, Dennis Wilkerson, for the idea for the card. We like it. We love it. And at the end of the day, people, remember, this is where we ask the what ifs, because the card is always subject to change.